Hello, class. Welcome to week 9 of Counsel 17. You have been learning about the last few weeks. We covered learning styles, time management, study techniques, learning about the importance of taking notes while reading, how to actively read. You reviewed that through your reading and the videos. And then this week is going to focus on test taking strategies. And it's also going to be the last week of working on your assessments that are going to come together for the college survival skills portfolio that are due on the assignments due on Sunday, May 1st. So everything's coming together now that you worked on since week 4. So if we take a look at the module, you review the overview and to-do list, learning objectives. You're going to do your reading, finishing up chapter 4 that we've broken up within these last couple of weeks. There's some test taking and study strategy videos to review. And your last assessment that you're doing that's going into the college survival skills portfolio is called the fixed commitment calendar. So there's 2 parts to this. First, you're going to download the Evaluate Your School and Workload PDF by clicking on the arrow. You complete this PDF, save it to your device. You'll be basing this activity on an imaginary course load of 12 units, which is the minimum amount of units for a full-time student in college. So if we look at this assessment, once you download it, you're going to complete it. So let's wait for it to pop up for a second. And it's taking some time. Maybe oh, here we go. Okay, so you put your name. Here's where you're going to do a little bit of imagination. So in college, you take classes, and classes are worth a certain amount of units. Classes are typically worth about 3 units. So say you're taking English 1, that's 3 units. Say you're going to take Math 225, which is statistics, that's 4 units. You could take communication studies, that's 3 units, and then you're going to take psychology 1, that's 3 units. So you're making up a schedule. The point of this assessment is to figure out how much study time you're going to have to put in to do well in a full-time class load, and then to see what time you have to complete the other things needed in your weekly and daily schedule. So as you learned about in your book, study time should be at least 2 hours for each unit of class. So that means for one 3-unit class, you're doing twice as much of that for studying. So that's 6 hours of study time. So with a 12-unit load, you have 12 units times 2, that's going to be 24 hours of study time. So that means you're going to be in class for 12 hours a week. A unit really equals like an hour of time. And you're going to be studying about 24 hours a week outside of class. So that means you're looking at a 36-hour commitment with just taking classes. So it's almost like a full-time job. So then you want to look at what additional obligations will you have. You write down the time required for each week. Do you work? How many hours a week do you work? Do you participate in any clubs, organizations? So you're going to add up the total of those, any additional obligation total hours, and write that here. And then you're going to add up 1, 2, and 3 to get your grand total. Once you have your grand total of hours, you're going to see where you lie in the scale of if it's going to be doable or not for you. College is going to require a lot of attention and time. And so you want to really look at how are you planning out your time and what are your obligations to make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself and you're keeping a type of schedule that you're going to be able to do well in and keep your GPA up. Once you complete number 4, you're going to read about where you're at in terms of amount of time, and then you're going to create your fixed commitment and study schedule. Be sure to include time for all of the following options. And on your calendar, you're going to label each time block for class, work, study time, etc. You can use a different color if you want, but if you're doing it on the computer, I understand if you can't. So you've completed the Evaluate Your School and Workload PDF, and you're using that information now to do the fixed commitment calendar and study schedule. So this is to help you practice Planning out what a week would look like in college for you. Planning your studying first and then all your other obligations. Exercising time, if you're part of an organization, extracurricular activities, if you have to work. And so planning it out block for block. So first you would start by putting in, say, you're taking a 3-unit English class. You need to plan out what 3 hours would that imaginary class take time. Maybe you're doing an hour and a half on Tuesdays and an hour and a half on Thursdays. So first you put in all your classes, then you put in your study time when you would be studying throughout the day, and so on and so forth, including all the different things that you need to do, extracurricular activities, working, sleeping, commuting, personal and leisure time, athletics, etc. So you can get an idea of what your schedule looks like. Make sure you save both these PDFs because then you're going to be using them for your college survival skills portfolio to submit them. So after completing the reading of this week and the 2 assessments above, answer the following questions. Explain what you learned about yourself, include discussion about your school and workload category, discuss how many hours per week you need to plan for study and about making that study plan work for you, and discuss the changes you will make or strategies you will start using. Once you complete this assessment, you're then going to finally put everything together for your college survival skills portfolio. So let's review it again. We reviewed it a couple weeks ago. So throughout the last few weeks, you've completed 7 assessments to help you reflect on time management and study strategies that work for you as an individual. After you complete each assessment, you've reflected on what you have learned in the corresponding discussion post for that week. In your weekly reflections and discussions, you will integrate information about various time management and study strategies that you'll learn about in lecture and in the weekly assigned readings. So you'll be using each assessment and your weekly reflection from your discussion post to create a compilation of work that will contribute to your college survival skills portfolio, which is due this Sunday, May 1st. Remember, it's 100 points, so it's a big chunk of your grade. When you submit the portfolio, you will need to submit all completed assessments, the reflection on each assessment, and a final summary about what you have learned throughout the project. So what you will submit all of the 7 assessments that you've completed in the last few weeks that you downloaded and saved to your PDF. That's the first thing you're submitting, all 7 of those. Then you're using this assessment reflection template to copy and paste all of your answers from your discussion post since week 4 into the assessment template. So you're downloading this template, copying and pasting your answers into this template so that we have it all in one section, what you've completed. And you already did this work, you just have to copy and paste it into this because it's from your discussions from all these weeks, including this week's discussion. Then the last thing you're submitting is the final reflection. Now that you have completed 6 different time management and study strategy assessments, summarize what you have learned about yourself and how you're going to use this knowledge in your future as a successful college student. You will also discuss various time management and study strategies that you have learned about throughout the last 6 weeks. Answer the following questions. What new awareness do you have about yourself as a result of this project? Ask yourself, what does this mean to me? What is something new that I have learned about myself? What impact does it have on my life, on my success as a student? Identify, describe, and reflect on at least 3 time management strategies that you learned about in the last 6 weeks. Use information from the weekly readings, lecture, and the assessments you completed. Identify, describe, and reflect on at least 3 study strategies that you have learned about in the last 6 weeks. Use information from the weekly readings, lecture, and the assessments you completed. The written portions of this assignment must be typed, double-spaced, 12-point Times New Roman font. Make sure to proofread for spelling and grammar errors. Write incomplete sentences. Type in Microsoft Word or Google Docs and save it as a PDF and upload it in the assignment submission box. The assignment is due May 1st. That's a typo. I'm going to fix it, and it's worth 100 points. If you need help understanding how to actually submit an assignment, there's a tutorial here. So this page is all of the directions. So again, you'll be submitting all 7 assessments that you completed and saved as a PDF. You're going to include your assessment reflection template that you've copied and pasted your answers from your discussions since week 4. And you're submitting your final reflection. So you're going to type this up and submit that as well. All together, due this Sunday, May 1st. If you click next, This is where you're going to be submitting. Let's see if it lets me see. Oops, let's leave student view. This is where you're going to be submitting. It's going to have a submit button for you, and you'll be able to submit it here. Also, you'll be able to see the rubric with all the criteria to exactly how to get your full points. So if you identify, describe, applied, and reflected on at least 3 time management strategies, included all 6 assessment PDFs and reflections for each assessment and a final reflection, and the same with the study strategies, you get your full points. If you have any questions about this assignment, please, please, please feel free to reach out to me this week. If you want to do a one-on-one live Zoom because you have questions, I'm happy to do that as well. Just always send me a Canvas inbox or an email so that I can assist you. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing your college survival skills portfolio and your discussion, and please write me if you have any questions. Take care.